So this afternoon we are actually making more pickle brine for our homemade refrigerator pickles. Now this is kind of an odd time of the year, of the season, to make more pickles because this is the middle of September. But the other day, yesterday, we picked a whole 5-gallon bucket of cucumbers. We couldn't believe that we found that many because it's been really warm here. Of course, it's dried up a little bit, so kind of environment that pickles don't normally grow in, but there was a lot of them. We found a lot of cucumbers, so we had to make more pickles. So I showed you earlier in the season how we made our homemade pickle brine, but I'm not sure if I showed you how we did the store-bought pickle brine, so I will show you that right now. So you just need a pot like this. We are going to make 2 batches in one pot, so 2 packets of pickle brine. We like dill pickles. We do not like sweet pickles in our family, but of course they do make sweet pickle mix, bread and butter pickle. So you can choose, and also there's spicy pickle mix. There's a variety. So just get the kind that you and your family enjoy. So we need to open up this pickle mix, and we need to put it in the pot. Now, like I said, we're going to do 2 batches at once, but if you only did 1 batch at once, then you could just read the directions, which is a packet of the pickle mix, 7 1/3 cup of water, 3 1/3 cup of vinegar, and that's all. So, but we're going to do 2 packets, so we're going to double that because we know that we're going to need 2 packets of the pickle brine. And also, a reason that we're doing this before we cut up the pickles even is because we do refrigerator pickles to keep them crispy. That's the best way we have ever found out. We've been making pickles for 20 years or more, and that is the best way to keep them crispy. Using, what was that stuff? That crispy pickle stuff, it doesn't really work. It kind of doesn't work. So I say no heat, just cold. Keeps them crispy, and it keeps them crispy, probably to the next year even, because we even had pickles from last year, refrigerated pickles, and right before we started making new pickles, and they were still good and they were still crispy. So it's really amazing to keep them away from the heat. So we need to make the brine first, and then it needs to cool down before we can put it on top of the pickles that we're going to cut. The cucumbers that we're going to cut to put in the jars. So that's why we make it first, and then cut up the cucumbers, and then when it's chilled, we put the brine on it and then put them in the refrigerator. So there's no canning, no heat at all. So it's really easy, a lot easier too. So here's our 2 packets of the pickle mix. Now, like I said, it was 7 1/3 cup, but we need 2 of those. So we need 14 and about 15 cups of water. We're going to just say for 15 cups. So these 2 are already filled up. So that would be probably about 8 cups, so about 2 of these, not all the way filled up, of water. But it's okay if you put a little bit more water, a little bit more vinegar in it. It doesn't have to be precise. Actually, sometimes you can just eyeball it. You don't need to measure it. So it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, now the vinegar. We would need, since we're doing 2, we would need about 7 cups of vinegar. Now I guess we're just going to put the vinegar in this thing. And up here is 6, so this is about 7 cups right here to this line. I just do a little bit extra because I did a little bit of extra water. We don't want, well actually I can't do any. We probably should have got it in a bigger pot, but we can add this little last bit of vinegar in after it goes down a little bit because it will boil down. A lot of that water will evaporate out actually. You don't really have water, if you want strong pickles, that water is going to evaporate out, so the vinegar will stay. But we will add that little bit at the end. Actually, it was over here. Okay, so now there's our mix. Now we're going to take it over. We're doing it in the outside cooker today because it's still pretty warm here, and that's just going to make our house very hot if we cook this in the inside stove. So give me a minute and I'll go light that. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we have the burner lit, and now we're going to take, it's heavy, this over here. Follow me. We won't spill any, hopefully we will not spill it. And here's our pot, our pit. And now we just need to let this boil. Stir it a couple times till it's blended, that seasoning is all dissolved and blended in. Boil it, then turn it off, then let it cool before you put on your pickles. But we're going to do that as another video so you can see me doing that. But if not, you check back. We've already done that in the beginning of the year, so it's not too complicated. But this is how we do our store-bought pickle mix. Have a blessed day. Bye.